Hello, my name is Erith Brosig, and today I'll be presenting my Lest We Forget final project for Mr. O'Connell's history class. My aim with this project is to look back on a lesser-known historical figure and analyze their life and how it is relevant in the 21st century. Three of the topics I will be covering today in this presentation are the historical figure's backstory, life circumstances, what catapulted them into history forever, what made them supremely human, and how we should remember this figure in the years to come. I chose Neolin as I found his name alone to be very interesting and wanted to learn more. My chosen biography highlights Neolin's backstory as well as other similar Native American prophets and had all the info I might need. I believe the reason that Neolin is still unknown to most is the little amount of info surrounding him. Even in my research, the options on biographies and other sources were very limited. Native Americans such as Neolin are easily pushed under the rug by mainstream society, even though they are the first true inhabitants of America. Backstory and life circumstances. Neolin's date of birth and death are unknown. Neolin was a part of the Lenape or Lenni Lenape people of Delaware. They were a group of Native Americans that were not necessarily very close-knit, but very spread out throughout Delaware. They weren't very traditional in their ways of being a tribe necessarily, but they did have little villages all throughout Delaware. Neolin was a proclaimed prophet with strong traditionalist ideas, but not the first. Many of these Delaware prophets had ideas similar to Neolin's, but they just came before Neolin and had the similar ideas, but were lesser documented than Neolin was. Decisions and events that catapulted Neolin into history forever. Neolin held traditionalist ideas and values that later influenced Native American leaders such as Pontiac and spurred such things as the Pontiac Rebellion and uprisings from 1763 to 64. And he claimed to have spoken to the Creator himself and was instructed on how Native people should live. In his teachings, he strongly opposed white settlement and encouraged Native Americans to return to traditional means of living, both social and technological. In this, he wanted these Native American tribes to resist the white settlement that was ever so popular in this era, and he wanted them to go back to hunting, gathering, not using necessarily a musket to hunt these animals for food, but actually using maybe a bow and arrow, a spear, and being close-knit in a tribe through their social needs. What made Neolin supremely human? What made Neolin supremely human was the fact that he was able to stay strong in his beliefs towards the lives of his people and others. Never straying and influencing many of his successors was the reason he was able to have such a large impact. How and why we should remember Neolin in the 21st century. While we might not remember Neolin for his teachings, we can remember him for his heart and determination in efforts to lead his people and challenge the way many live their lives. There is the biography I used, and that concludes my Lest We Forget project. Thank you for watching. I hope I've shed light on the life of Neolin, his teachings, and his influence on Native Americans early in the history of America and how impactful history truly is in general. Thank you again.